Foreigners are everywhere. Killing them is criminal. 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 Foreigners are burning.
South Africa.
Stop destroying.
South Africa.
Stop the looting.
South Africa.
Stop the burning.
South Africa.
Stop the looting.
South Africa.
Stop the killing.
South Africa.
Shame on you.
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 South Africa.
Stop the looting.
South Africa.
Stop destroying.
South Africa.
Stop the burning.
South Africa.
Shame on you.
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 South Africa.
Foreigners live
Yeah, you
everywhere.
are the president of the Nigerian Union in Sweden,
That's right.
and you are here to
Everywhere.
register your protest at
Foreigners
the
live everywhere.
South African Embassy here in Stockholm today.
That's correct.
Tell us what informed this protest, despite the fact that the South African government has apologized to some of the African countries.
Well, to me, apology is something you do when you inadvertently do something which you regret. But if you have been carefully and meticulously carrying out an attack or doing something that has been prolonging for a long time and you come out with just an apology, something like that, it seems to me like it's a premeditated something and it's just a whitewash to come around and say, oh, you are sorry for this, whatever has been going on has not been something that ordinary South African has sanctioned. It has been a criminal activity. It's a lip service as far as I'm concerned, because virtually all the society of South Africa at best were passive to what has been going on. So it doesn't look like a few criminals who were carrying out things like that. If they were criminals like the political leaders of the country are trying to portray, then what are the functions of the police? They should have rounded these people up and take the judicial process of the country into account. So hold them responsible for their actions. But that is not what I see. So we are coming here not for just an apology. We want to see concrete actions on the ground to safeguard the properties and the lives of the people who are illegally residing in the country of South Africa.
This kind of events and xenophobic attacks have been synonymous with South Africa especially. This is not the first time. And it appears that this time around the attacks were more and the losses that were incurred by Nigerians and a host of other countries' nationals in that country were much. Don't you think the South African government should give them some kind of support, at least pay for the losses?
Well, in my opinion, paying for the damage that has been done is the least step that I think the South African government can take. First of all, they have to reassure the people, the so-called immigrants and things like that, that they will guarantee them the security and their ways of guarantee their means of legal livelihood in the country, that they will be able to pursue this without hindrance by the society. They should support these people. They should be able to, these people should have a recourse for the laws of the country and be able to get access to the same government the government apparatus which ordinary citizens have. They should guarantee to these people too, especially those people who are legally residing there and doing their businesses, going about their daily livelihood in a legal way. So apology does not go that long, because we have had so many apologies throughout my lifetime, and the more people apologize, the more we return to the same things again. So I don't want to come here to demonstrate next time again, but to call the attention of South Africa into an action which I think should not have even happened in the first place.
What do you think other African countries should do to be able to forestall this kind of events? Because it's not the first time in South Africa. What do you think other Africans, from their own part, what do you think they should do? Other country, foreigners in South Africa, what do you think they should do?
Well, what I do think other African nationals, you mean in South Africa, can do is to find console each other, and also I would dare to say that they should stand their ground, because all these people collectively stood up against the evils of apartheid, if we recall. And as a result of that, with the same determination and conviction, I want them to stand their ground together against this aggression that is being perpetrated by the South African locals, some of them anyway. I want to see that. And I want them also, this effort to reverberate in their respective countries too, so as to send a message that is really very concrete to the South African government that we are not going to, Africa is not going to accept this. South Africa cannot go it all alone. They wouldn't have, if they could, they wouldn't have done it in the 70s. They could not. Without the help of these African countries, they will not be where they are today. So there is always that menu of option to that. South African countries in this way may start to, boycott South African affairs. That is also an option which cannot be removed from the table.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria, take note of that. It's unfortunate that we have a few problems of leadership, but we will solve them. We will solve them with time. Nigeria is a great country. Long before Nigerians came to South Africa, there were criminals in South Africa. There was unemployment in South Africa. Long before Ghanaians went to South Africa, there was unemployment. There was violence in South Africa. South Africa is one of the most violent countries on this planet, on planet Earth. Don't blame foreigners. Don't blame other people coming. You have serious, real problems in the country to solve. You have a land problem to solve in South Africa. Don't blame poor people who have come to the country trying to make ends meet. They have nothing to do with the problems of South Africa. If anybody from a different country, Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Congo, comes to the country, your country, and commits a crime, you have every right to punish that person. In fact, even the government of Ghana, the government of Congo, the government of Nigeria will help you to bring that person to book and to punish him. But don't take the law into your hands and go out with collective punishment and punish people. I don't care. People have been killed. But the most important, not a single foreigner, African or non-African, should be touched. Killing is the absolutely worst, but even should be to touch somebody. And the worst thing, Ramaphosa has incited people to violence. There's a recorded tape. He's a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. Ramaphosa is worth more than $500 million. I think this is a conservative estimate. He's far more worth. Where did he get all that money from?
Corruption.
He's a criminal. He's a criminal. He was collaborating with our apartheid regime. So, he incited to solve his personal problems. The only aim in power, his only aim for being in power is to amass wealth more and more. And he's not alone. The leadership of South Africa is a criminal gang led by Ramaphosa. I personally, I'm only one single person. I will never respect any South African unless this man is voted or removed from power. He should never represent the African continent on any occasion, at any function, anywhere. The fact that he's still tolerated, it also shows the sickness that is spread among the African leadership in general.
Yes.
But I will never rest, even if I'm a single person, until this man is removed from power.
You give us, tell us your names and why you're here today.
Just
Anthony Jackson is my name.
You're from Ghana?
From Ghana, yes.
Okay.
And I'm also a member of the
Just
Ghana
when we
Union.
thought we
Okay.
could borrow a
Stockholm.
leaf,
Okay.
Well,
On the likes
obviously
of
I'm
the
here
NAFTA,
to show my support
EU,
for this
and the
demonstration.
Asian bloc
And as I have
economic
said,
arrangement.
what is happening in South Africa is
The
terrible.
CAFTA arrangement was
I
signed
feel
in July.
so thoroughly disappointed.
South
And as I
Africa
said,
visited
I
us
don't
with
respect
this
South Africa.
a
I
month
don't respect
later.
our South African
How
today.
much progress?
Especially somebody who is working for Ramaphosa. I don't respect Ramaphosa.
How much progress?
He should retire and then go and enjoy his ill-gotten millions. That would be best for him to do. I expect more
How much
Africans to come out
economic
on the
success
continent,
do you
our
think
governments, to point an accusation, a finger at Ramaphosa, and to drive him from any
the
function.
economy
He should
of
never
your
be
own
allowed
country?
to hold any function for the African
the few
continent
you
or
claim
for any African country.
make
And as I said, I will
everybody
not rest until this man
suffer
is
the
booted
brunt.
from power. He's not alone. He and other police officers who have been making very
We
outrageous
have
statements.
no words
In
to
short,
describe
this
the
is
shape.
what I have to I
It
can
is
say.
shame.
This is not the first
South
time.
Africa
South Africa is
before
known for
themselves,
xenophobic attacks. This is not the
before
first. This is not the
Africans,
second. But this
and before
time
the
around, it
whole
was large scale,
Yes.
large scale destruction, large scale killings.
Stop the
And
killing.
if you watch,
Shame on you.
their impotence,
Stop the
they are
killing.
unable to deal with
Shame
the basic
on you.
problems,
Stop the killing.
of
Shame on you.
organizing the
Stop
economy,
the
the
killing.
land problem, which is very important.
Stop
So
the
they have to
killing.
turn their attention to
Stop the
unprotected, defenseless people.
Stop the
That will
killing.
never solve their problem.
Stop the killing.
I don't really blame this
Stop
the
the
gang
killing.
of destroyers and the mob as such. They have they share some blame, but it's minimal. The blame should be on the South African government and the leadership of that country.
Shame on
Something
you.
is very seriously wrong.
Shame on
Something
you.
must be done now.
Shame on you.
South Africa needs help
Shame on
to
you.
change.
Shame on you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shame on you. It is a shame that South Africa is the one to attain that dream which we collectively have today. We are out here to register our displeasure, our grievances, our sorrow for those brothers who have been burnt, businesses who have been that have been destroyed in cities like Cape Town, Southern Cape, and the likes. Your apologies would not go far unless those suburbs in those regions are made to be free from this kind of attacks. May we call to your notice, there are 22,000 South Africans who live in Nigeria freely today. Have we all ever heard of one who has been killed? No. Have we ever heard of one whose businesses have been destroyed? No. That is why we call on you today. It is actually criminal to kill because you think they are criminal, you suspect criminal actions. It is actually criminal to steal, to loot, and to burn down people's businesses, all in the name of whatever excuse you say you have. We have 7,000 nurses and doctors who are saving your lives in South Africa today. Are you going to kill them in the hospitals where they save your lives? Let us register this today as a complaint that will go to the very top, because we understand the shameful defense that has happened of these actions. It was sorrowful to read that even ministers were in apathy regarding this kind of situation. It is a shame. What happened to the spirit of Ubuntu that Nelson Mandela taught us about? What happened to the spirit of Pan-Africanism we all believe in and we dream about? This should stop. Today is the day the messages should be sent far and wide. We do not tolerate, we do not want this anymore. As long as your 22,000 citizens in our country are free to go about their business, our citizens should be free to go about their businesses in your country. Thank you.
If you go to Nigeria today, the biggest telecommunication company in Nigeria is a South African company
Very ironic.
by name MTN. Go to Nigeria today, MTN even acquired the land that belongs to my father without paying a dime. This is the sacrifice my own family made to South Africa. Yes. And I can tell you, MTN alone is occupying more than 300 hectares of land in Nigeria. They did not pay a dime. Your problem is to how to manage the proceed made by MTN from Nigeria. That is your problem. Organize yourself and know how to manage it. Secondly, the biggest supermarket in Nigeria today is ShopRite.
The Palms.
ShopRite is owned by South Africa. And I can tell you, South Africa, ShopRite takes millions of dollars from Nigeria to South Africa monthly. In my own state of Imo State, ShopRite is occupying more than 32 acres of land from Imo State. They did not pay a dime. My state, Imo State of Nigeria, gave them the land free of charge to encourage South Africa, to ensure that your economy is strong. I can tell you that ShopRite alone has about 72, more than 72 branches all over Nigeria. We have never stopped them from remitting their proceeds back to South Africa. Today, the ambassador of South Africa to Sweden, including the gentleman standing before us and the lady standing beside him, you are enjoying the freedom provided by the Swedish government. I want to put a question to you. How do you feel standing in a democratic nation where your right is being protected, where the Swedish government protects you from any crime, and you are representing a country called South Africa that has engaged in killing people, killing innocent people in the name of Afrophobia? That is a rubbish attitude. You think if Nigerians and other Africans leave South Africa today, that you are going to survive? No, your economy will go down.
You are the Secretary of the Nigerian Union in Sweden.
Yes.
Today you are here for the protests in front of the South African embassy. Do you think President Buhari's response on the part of Nigeria now, do you think President Buhari's response to the xenophobia in South Africa was timely?
My opinion is that the President of Nigeria, in the name of President Muhammadu Buhari, have not done enough. The time intervention does not seem right. Everything seems like he doesn't care about the common man. He's only interested, he has another ulterior motive. He leaves everything in the hands of the Southerners and Easterners because he felt the xenophobia attack did not affect the northern people in the northern region, but we're all one Nigeria. So I believe the president should have responded rapidly at the appropriate time, make sure that being the leader of the leading nation in Africa, he should have rallied around the other African country leaders, make sure the killing, the destruction of properties, the attacks on innocent Nigerians going about their business in South Africa, paying their due tax, making sure they are safe, making sure their properties are safeguarded. And on the contrary, I believe that the South Africans of today did not understood the fight the Nigerians contributed during the apartheid regime. Nelson Mandela himself, Thomas Mbeki, all the old leaders of South Africans once lived in Nigeria and other African nations. So Nigeria have contributed immensely towards the development of South Africa, towards the development of the economy, ongoing economy, Nigeria is contributing heavily
Enough
to see that the
is
economy
enough.
is flourishing.
Enough is
Nigerians are not criminals.
We're here to send a message to South African government in Sweden, the embassy, that enough is enough. Killing our brothers, destroying properties, trying to do things that are not uncalled for as a human, that they should stop doing that. We don't expect that from the country. We have given all our things in the past to safeguard them.
For capturing that? Yeah. Okay. Do you think this message is going to get to the government?
Definitely, of course, through the Swedish government as well. They're going to get the message to send a warning to them that enough of that. They should stop killing, more especially killing innocent ones. Killing should not be a best way to solve the problem. They have shown, the politicians, they have shown that they have failed their own citizens by not creating jobs, and then they venture in saying things that will make them to kill people, which is not the best option in life.
Koro, today you are here to protest with the Nigerians and the other Africans who are here to protest in front of the South African embassy. Why? What pushed you to come to this protest today?
Generally, I believe in African solidarity, Pan-Africanism, which means that we must work together to be able to stand the external forces that are threatening the African continent. And if we should start fighting or killing each other, then we will be given our enemy, who are actually those who are not like us, we'll be giving them the tools to deal with us. I feel depressed by the fact that we are hearing the same type of rhetoric like you hear from Trump and all the right-wing politicians in Europe, and we're beginning to hear the same type of sentiment from South Africa. So I think it's a very depressing situation.
Yeah. What do you think Africans can do to forestall further happenings of this type in Africa, especially in South Africa? What do you think Africans can do to prevent this from happening again?
I think it's all about raising the level of consciousness of the importance of identifying ourselves as a special group. As the color of our skin is a very defining factor in who we are and who we identify with. So if we're able to raise the level of consciousness of our African citizens, they will understand that it does not really matter which part of the geographical Africa you are in. We are all confronting the same problem. We have corrupt politicians. In the case of South Africa, you can see their ex-president, he was looting the country. And then what do? Yes, they go to the masses and feed them sentiments and make them feel that the reason for their lack of success in life is immigrants. So I think we need to raise the level of consciousness of our fellow Africans.